All right, looks like we are live. Hello, how are you? This is Daniel Barrett here from AdWordsNerds.com. As always, if you need help with your online marketing strategy to find more motivated seller leads and deals online, you know where to go. It's AdWordsNerds.com. Today we are Today we're talking about closing more deals. We're talking about closing more deals. And I started this post off by basically saying, hey, everybody says that they want more leads. And this is a really common thing. When people come to me, they say, hey, we want more leads. I run an agency that gets people more leads. Leads is the sort of lead indicator that we track for how someone's doing. So it's totally normal, totally rational to focus on leads. But of course, we can't lose sight of the fact that as a real estate investor, you don't actually want leads. You don't want leads at all. Well, maybe not at all, but you don't really want leads. That's not the goal. Leads are a way of getting you to the goal, and the goal is to close more deals. So the question is not so much how do I get more leads, although more leads are nice, assuming that they're of roughly equivalent quality, right? But the question is how do I close more deals off of the leads that I have? Now, there are some of the absolute basic stuff that you need to keep in mind when you're thinking about this question of like, okay, how do I close more deals from the leads that I have? You can think about your CRM, for example. You might be using a CRM like REI Blackbook or InvestorFuse or something that's more generic like Pipedrive or Podio or whatever. These are all great, right? Basic system for keeping track of the leads that come in. Obviously, speed to lead. So the amount of time that elapses between when that lead comes in and when you contact them is absolutely critical. At AdWords Nerds, we talk about the 5-minute rule. This comes from when we worked with Joe McCall, wonderful real estate investor, coach, really, really smart dude. And Joe McCall had one of our best close rates of any client that we ever worked with. And when I talked to Joe about why that was, he said that they had a 5-minute rule. Whenever a lead came in, whether it was from email or text or whatever, right, however it came in, they were trying to get that person on the phone inside of 5 minutes from when they came in. So very, very little time elapsed. And there's a variety of tools you can use for this. Actually, one of the things that I often recommend is there's a tool called CallRail. CallRail is kind of a call tracking software. You make a bunch of phone numbers and you can use that to gather data. You could use it for direct mail. For example, if you send out a bunch of postcards, each one, each different design might have a different phone number. It all calls the same number in the end. It all calls you, but then you can look at the CallRail data and say, oh, this postcard generated more calls than this one. That's one example of how you can use it. You can use it online in all sorts of different ways. One of the things that they offer, which is really cool, is you can plug CallRail into your form, right? So like, let's say you've got an investor carrot site, REI Blackbook site, whatever, WordPress site. You've got a form that you want investors to fill out. You can set it up so that when they fill out that form and they give you your phone number, that triggers an automation in the back end. CallRail will call you. So they'll call you. You'll get like a robo voice that says, "Hi, this is CallRail. I've got a lead coming in. Do you want to accept?" You click 1 for yes, and then it automatically dials the number that the person gave you. So the way that this works in practice is this seller, types in some ass fast or whatever into Google, and they land on your website. They fill out their email form, and then a minute later, they see a call coming in. They pick it up, and you're like, "Hey, this is Dan Barrett from AdWords Nerds or wherever. Dan Barrett from REI Buy Your House biz or whatever," and you're right there in that conversation. You didn't even have to dial the phone. That's really, really awesome, right? Now, there are other ways to think about closing deals once a lead comes in. Obviously, email follow-up is really important. Most investors are going to have some kind of like off-the-cuff email follow-up, like, "Hey, I got your blah, blah, blah." Investor Carrot sends out an automatic one. But I have found, and after speaking with investors over the course of several years, and investors who, everybody from, people doing a couple deals a year to doing 100 deals a year, right? What I found over and over is that close to 60% of the deals that you are going to do are going to come after the third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh contact. And this is really important to understand because Yes, online leads tend to be more motivated than direct mail leads, yada, yada, yada. This is a thing that most people have heard. But if you expect that to mean in reality that every lead that comes in closes on the phone with you the very first time that you talk to them, you're going to leave a lot of money on the table. Most people, especially in the market that we're in right now, which is it's an aggressive seller's market, right? You've probably seen this in your local market as you look at deal valuations and prices and all that stuff. Most people are going to need more time in order to make a decision. It just is the way that it is, right? If you are a real estate investor, you are being shopped around against other real estate investors. It doesn't matter where your leads are coming from. That's going to be the case the majority of the time. And so they're going to need time to make that decision. Now, if you just back off and let them make that decision in a vacuum, they're going to make it however they make it. If you are following up, providing value, touching base, staying top of mind, you've got a much better shot at getting that contract. Okay, so this is really important to understand. I like to do, I would always talk about, like, it doesn't have to be complicated, some kind of like super complicated email funnel. I like to do a really simple email follow-up process, which is once a month, you send an email that says, hey, it's Dan. Did you sell your house yet? That's it. Now, that's not the best email follow-up ever. I'm sure you absolutely make a better one. You can make really, really elaborate ones and ones where you deliver a lot of content, give them a lot of data and blah, blah, blah. I'm not saying that's the best one, but it's better than nothing and it's easy to do. Easy to do. Any email system can do it. You could do it in Google Sheets and Zapier and Gmail. You don't even have to pay for anything other than Zapier, right? So I would certainly imagine doing that. And the other thing to think about is retargeting. Of course, retargeting. So retargeting is when someone lands on your website, you follow them around with ads. We do this at AdWords Nerds. The primary channel we use for retargeting is Facebook, but you can retarget on Google. You can retarget with all sorts of third-party platforms and software that we are experimenting with. You can even send direct mail to someone when they land on your website. There's a ton of ways to sort of stay top of mind for this person. But the main idea I want you to take away from is everything that happens after that lead converts has a huge impact on whether that lead becomes a deal. If you just assume that all the hard work is over once that person fills out your form, you're going to leave deals and money on the table. So think about that sort of post-lead environment as a huge opportunity for you. You're going to close more deals. You're going to make more money. You're going to be happier. You're going to spend less time on your business. Everything's going to be amazing. As always, you know where to go. For more tips like these, it's adwordsnerds.com. We've got a very active blog, hugely active Facebook group. I want you to be in there if at all possible. As always, this is Daniel Barrett from adwordsnerds.com. Signing off, and I wish you well. Cheers.